Let's bring in Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton. Senator, thanks for being here.
Brett, good to be on with you.
I want to talk to you about all of this and foreign policy as well, but I want to start with what you've seen out of Kentucky. You're from a state that is very familiar with tornado damage and all that comes with it.
Yeah, Brett, terrible storms starting in Arkansas and going across the Mid-South and into the Midwest. We lost 2 lives in Arkansas in my visits over the weekend with local officials, the mayors, the judges, the nursing home owner of the nursing home that's destroyed. One constant refrain I heard is that they couldn't believe that more life wasn't lost. But thanks to the quick wits and bravery of our fellow Arkansans, we only had 2 lives lost, which are tragic.
From Arkansas right there.
Yeah, some of the scenes you've seen from Kentucky and Mayfield in particular is just heartbreaking. So my prayers and condolences go out not just to my fellow Arkansans, but all fellow Americans who are affected by these storms.
It's going to take a lot to rebuild. Okay, I want to turn to that story you just saw out of the State Department and this incident with this map. And what does it say about the administration and what they're doing?
Well, it projects pathetic weakness, Brett, when Joe Biden convenes a summit for democracy and then he has a member of Taiwan's cabinet speaking to other democracies, and they cut the feed simply because it shows Taiwan and China in different colors on the map. I don't believe for a minute that it was merely a technical issue. I believe that this is an example of the president and the administration kowtowing to Beijing. What we need to do is stand alongside Taiwan, help secure its autonomy, and maintain the status quo across the strait. That's been the policy of the United States now for 40 years. But Beijing is the one that is now threatening Taiwan, threatening to change that status quo by force, not by negotiation.
Here is Josh Rogan with the Washington Post speaking on Brian Kilmeade's radio show.
It's some technical guy in the State Department who like sees this guy put up a map of Taiwan and is like, oh, wait a second, we didn't know about that. Cut to commercial. Okay. And then the Emperor's like, oh my God, what happened? Like the White House told us to do it. Okay. So it does speak to something like a greater problem with this democracy summit because, you know, they wanted to include Taiwan, but only so much. Eventually we have to acknowledge that Taiwan acts like a country, walks like a country, talks like a country. It's a democracy. It's what, if we're going to support it, we have to call it what it is. It's a country.
What would you do differently?
Well, first off, Joe Biden should apologize for what happened. Someone should be held accountable in his administration. Someone should be fired for what happened. But Joe Biden should apologize for what happened, say it shouldn't have happened, and he should make clear that the United States will help Taiwan defend its own sovereignty. That starts with significantly expanding and accelerating arms sales, things like missiles and anti-ship mines, helping Taiwan get its own reserve forces in order, making sure that Taiwan is strong enough that communist China never attempts to go for the jugular there. That's the best way to avoid a war in the hottest flashpoint in the world is to make it clear that the United States will stand alongside Taiwan's democracy.
I asked Defense Secretary Austin about this. Take a listen. So what would the U.S. do if China invades Taiwan?
Again, you know, our policy remains the same. Our one China policy remains the same. We're committed to helping Taiwan develop and maintain the capability to defend itself. So we're going to do everything in our power to help prevent conflict and dial down the temperature whenever possible.
So that last part, dial down the temperature. You have China and Taiwan. You have Russia and Ukraine. There are a lot of people in the country who say, Senator, we don't want to be in another war anyplace. And if there's aggression, how do you do that without getting into a war?
Well, of course we don't want to have another war anywhere in the world. We always want to try to deter and prevent war. But the best way to do that, as George Washington said, our very first president, is to be prepared for war. That's the best way to preserve the peace. And in both cases, whether it's Taiwan or Ukraine, it's to enable those peoples to defend their own sovereignty, their own territorial integrity by helping them obtain the weapons and the training that they need to defend their own terrain, and being clear that we will not sit idly by and tolerate aggression against Taiwan, against Ukraine, that we will support these peoples diplomatically, economically, and militarily. If we do those things in advance and make our resolve clear, that will deter communist China. That will deter Vladimir Putin.
Last thing, Build Back Better seems to be running into speed bumps, namely Joe Manchin on Capitol Hill. Where do you see it? And do you think Democrats can pass it before Christmas?
Well, I certainly hope not. You know, I do give Joe Biden credit for this, Brett. Last month, we learned we had the highest inflation rate in 30 years. He said he was going to do something about it. On Friday, he did. We have the highest inflation rate in 40 years now. Of course, if we spend $5 trillion more that we don't have in this legislation, that's going to contribute to more inflation. That's why Senator Manchin, and frankly some other Democrats as well, have reservations about this bill.
Do you believe it's others beyond Senator Manchin?
Yes, I do, both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. It is insane to continue to spend trillions of dollars that we don't have when we have the worst inflation rate in 40 years, when families are having to work hard to make ends meet at the end of the month, paying for gas, paying for groceries, probably cutting back on the Christmas gifts for the kids. We don't need trillions of dollars of more spending.
Senator Kyle, we appreciate the time.
Thank you, Brett.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.